Hey everybody, Kevin 24/7 here. Thanks for tuning in. So a little bit of a different video today. I just want to discuss how important this election is. And let me see. I'm looking a little short here. Let me bring this chair up. So I cannot stress this enough. You need to go out. You need to vote. And the reason I say this is I think most people who are subscribed to this channel and seeing this video, who have the kind of interests I do in Humvees and cars and military stuff, are probably pro-America. They're probably patriots. Everyone has a right to vote, no matter what your view is. But I really want to express this to my viewers. It is so important this election to go out and vote. Not just for the presidential, but all the things that are on the ballot. Our country is radically changing. It's becoming something different than it was when I was growing up. And I'm actually quite fond of our country. And I don't think it needs to be changed in a 180-degree direction into something different. I'm sure nothing's perfect, right? There are things that can change, but the entire nation of a whole does not need to look itself in the mirror and not recognize itself 10 or even 5 years from today. So I highly recommend going out and voting. There's a lot that is at stake. I think principally World War III. A lot of people aren't talking about this, or maybe that's not the primary issue in their life, and that's just because it has not happened yet. The way things are going, if they continue on down this path, I can't do anything but warn that World War III is going to be inevitable. In fact, it may be inevitable regardless. We've really laid the foundation for it, and it's going to be difficult to chisel away at that foundation regardless of who wins this election. So that's one of them. The other thing is economics. The economy, inflation, cost of living. It's not all just about the stock market. People are unable to afford groceries. They're unable to pay their electric bill. They're unable to, pay their mortgage payments. They're unable to do a lot of basic things that were once pretty much taken for granted in this country. When people were growing up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s. If someone was unable to pay for their own house or unable to buy food or whatever it might be, make a car payment, maintain a decent credit score, whatever it might be, that was seen as kind of the outlier. Unfortunately, these days it is all too common. More than half of America is really struggling with this. Living paycheck to paycheck has always been a phenomenon that exists around the world, I think, not just this country. But now we're getting to the point where people are not, the paychecks are not covering the cost of inflation. So, that's something we really got to think about for not just ourselves, but our children, because these are long-term, what happens now will have effects and ripple effects 20 plus years down the road. And if you think it's difficult to get a house now, it may be literally impossible to get a house if you're a Generation Alpha or a younger Generation Z person. So I'm a millennial. I think it was relatively hard to get a house for most people from my generation, but it has gotten significantly harder, and it's continuing to do so. Many other issues, the cartel, things of that nature are not a joke. It's not a joke. I know it may not be on your front door today, gangs from other countries, stuff like that, but it will be on your front door if, once again, we continue down this path. And it may seem like a far off issue that doesn't affect you, or maybe it does affect you already. Maybe you're in a border state. But it may just seem abstract and goofy to worry about these things, but they will infiltrate the United States, and there's going to come a time, if we continue down this path, where there's going to be nobody you can turn to for help. So I don't want to just sound like I'm fear-mongering. There are things to look forward to, but ask anyone from a compromised country. There is literally nothing you can do to deal with these crime syndicates. You are a subject of them, no different than a medieval serf, and nobody is going to come and save you If we just allow this to continue to get out of control, it will infiltrate every aspect of our lives, including the police force, including politicians, which it already has to a huge degree, including the military, National Guard. There will be nothing you can do. So really think about the consequences of what's going on and what you want for the future. What also goes hand in hand with this is the drug epidemic. It is killing an untold amount of people in this country. It's taking away children, it's taking away parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents. It is killing thousands and hundreds of thousands, actually millions of people. It is completely out of control. Every single person watching this video probably knows someone directly in their own family. Maybe it's actually you who's dealing with a drug problem, but they know someone directly in their own family, or at a very minimum extended family or friends who are have dealt with addiction or have become a victim of addiction, are currently dealing with addiction, or even have been killed because of substance abuse. If you don't know anyone in your own family or extended family, you are truly blessed to never have to run into these issues. Everyone is redeemable. Everybody can get off drugs, and live their life the way they should. It's all possible. So if you're currently dealing with it, there's definitely hope for you. But we need to make it more difficult for people to fall into this horrible thing that is drugs. And this is coming across mostly on the southern border, and it's coming from other sources too. But politically, once again, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for or how to vote, but I really want you to think about the drug epidemic. It's hard to say that word. The drug epidemic and how it is affecting this country and how it is killing our friends and family. So I think there are things to look for that are positive. I think there are things to look forward to, rather. I think our economy can rebound. I think inflation can be put under control. I think the housing crisis can be handled, and younger generations, it's possible for them to have a shot at buying a house one day and not being lifetime renters. I think the drug epidemic, unfortunately, will probably never be ended. There's always going to be issues with drugs, unfortunately, in my opinion, but it can be limited, and we can save lives by the thousands and thousands of people. So, that's something that is 100% doable, and it's 100% possible. Another thing is I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic, actually. If you're a Christian or a Catholic, or honestly even just a God-believing person, somebody who believes in a higher power, I really want you to look at morally what's being pushed in this country and what is going on, and I guess really just examine your conscience and examine the conscience of this country and the way that it's turning, and ask yourself, is it going in the right direction? So I really would vote for what you morally think is correct. In my opinion, it is less drugs, less crime coming across the border, a better economy so people can live and get their basic needs, so they can get jobs and be independent, earn an honest living, not be forced to go out and make bad choices. And I think it's also just protecting our children, protecting our future generations from what we are experiencing now, and definitely from keeping it from getting any worse. So that's about all I have to say. Like I said, I'm not going to abjectly just tell you who to vote for. I think, ironically, most people who are into Humvees and guns and stuff like that actually do not want any more wars. We're done dealing with these foreign conflicts. We're done sending money overseas so people can use it to kill each other and blow each other up. And we're certainly done sending our children overseas so they can kill people and be killed. I think almost everyone who's into this stuff would like more money, because Humvees are not cheap and hobbies cost money. And, I think a major part of being American is having a little bit of extra money so you can one day afford to do the things you want to do, help buy your kids the things you want to do. I'd say take them to Disneyland, but Disneyland has just do your own research on what they've been doing. It has not been good in my opinion. But go on vacation and live a life that isn't full of just work and servitude. So, one saying I really like is freedom, and I think this was by Venerable Fulton Sheen. You should look him up. But freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. I'm paraphrasing. Freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. It's the ability to do what you ought to do. So you've been given the freedom, to vote and speak your mind, make videos like this on platforms. I'm not a huge platform, right? But we've got, I think, over 11,000 subscribers or 12,000 or 10,500. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if even 2,000 or 3,000 of these people see this, or let's say 1,000 or 500, and it encourages you to go out and vote, I will think that is a win, and I just feel obligated to make this video. So I'll keep it short. I'm probably boring everybody. Thank you for watching. Please go out and vote. Please go out and do what you think is right for the future of this country. And I will see you in the next video.